So AI is doing some things to our kids that I don't think anybody really fully expected. But I was reading this post that someone had made, or a comment someone made, about how they had I think it was 11-year-old child that was questioning the point of going to school because of AI taking the jobs in the future. And I'd known about like people that I knew in college just being afraid of AI taking their jobs and that type of thing, but I hadn't heard about it like really young kids. And so I was thinking about how I'd respond to this to my own child, and I was thinking that there's probably two parts to this. So the first is that it kind of sounds like catastrophizing in a little way. So I'd probably just say, hey, have you eaten today? Like, have you had some water? Take a little rest, sit down, and maybe we can think about something else for a little bit and then come back to this. And then if we're coming back to it, there's definitely some things to think about with it. And you'd say that school, there's some things to think about, like as an adult, like what does the paper for school mean as much anymore? Is it that important to have it? In some cases, yes. Maybe not in the future. It's a good question. But naturally, you can say is if you aren't interested in that, maybe that isn't a good place to put your energy. Anyway, back to how I'd talk to my own kid about this, though, is I'd say, why do you feel this way? What got you feeling this way? Did you hear something from a friend? Did you hear something from online? And just kind of have a conversation about how they feel about it, and just let them and ask them like, hey, what was there something you want to do? Do you think AI is going to take over? And they say art or drawing or music. You can say, I don't know about you, but I think there's definitely going to be a market for that in the future. And like if there's not huge stars or something, like you can talk about how some of the oldest musicians in the world used to just play for their families, their clan, their tribe, and there's no problem with that. Like, you can still be a musician, artist, and show stuff to your family. I mean, art used to be really functional. You think about clay pots, clay vases. So there's lots of ways that could go with the art conversation. But I think if they're worried about them being okay and their income or the world ending, that might be some crazy. That's some catastrophizing. I mean, what kid has not been, in what generation has not been worried about some new technology ruining their lives? Like, I can only imagine what kids in the 60s thought when Sputnik was launched, and they're like, oh my goodness, the world is ending, Russia is going to be crazy unstoppable, they put this thing into space before the United States could, and we're just freaking out. And maybe similar things happen right now, and it's like, oh my goodness, China is going crazy with their AI models, like they're gonna end the world. We're still here, I mean, my parents weren't even alive for that, so I just think about some of these aspects to it. And I think the main thing to focus on with kids is they're really young. Explain that, hey, I'm young, like as a parent, I'm young. If you're not like 150 years old, like on machines and stuff, you're really young. You got time to focus on the future, what's going to happen next. It's not the end of the world right now. We have no idea what's going to happen in 6 months, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year from now. Just as long as you personally are okay with the effort you're putting in. Like, if you want to be a doctor, to be a doctor, just because like you are obsessed with the science behind it, you're obsessed with just making sure people's health is okay, then that sounds like a good reason to be a doctor. But if you want to be a doctor because you think it's going to make you a lot of money and you think you're going to be rich, I mean, you could potentially, like, I'm not saying you won't in the future. I'm just saying that maybe thinking like that is not as useful in this AI landscape, worldscape. that we're living in, and maybe we should just focus on the things that we like to do because we like to do them. And if they do have this universal basic income thing they're talking about, I mean, cool. I mean, maybe we can do some farming, some subsistence farming on our land, you know, or community land. Who knows where this is all gonna go? Maybe, I mean, at the end of the day, we'll all have to do some hard work. That's just the nature of, like, you know, being a human. Humans must work for their own survival. It's not gonna just like into our laps. Maybe it's easier now, maybe it's harder now than it used to be, but at the end of the day, if I'm talking to my child, we're saying like, hey, a lot of things could happen. There's a lot of maybes, there's a lot of what ifs. But if you're doing something that you are willing to work hard for and use energy for, something that you find worthwhile, then that's important. And there's going to be value for human creation. There's going to be value for human mathematics. There's going to be a lot of value for analog things or digital things. And there always has been, there always will be. Maybe some people in the popular culture value some one more than the other at different points, but the long short of things is we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together, and we'll learn the lessons. We'll keep coming back to it, and let's get to work. You know, that's just what humans do. We adapt. We adapt and we work to make things happen. You know, make things happen for our families and the people we care about. And I think that's how I'd answer that question. How would you answer that question? I don't know. And so I've just been thinking about this a lot. I read it yesterday. I've been thinking all night, all the morning, made this video this afternoon. So if you have any thoughts about it, let me know.